Tor Ekhoff was unlike anyone else on YouTube. To his 1.3 million subscribers, he was Apator, a fearless, eccentric man who braved Norway's frozen landscapes with nothing but a bottle of vodka, a pair of skates, and an unpredictable imagination. His videos were equal parts comedy and danger. Skating across sheets of fragile ice, diving shirtless into black holes carved in frozen lakes, rolling through snow with bottles of vodka in hand. Sometimes he would even drink motor oil for no reason other than shock value. His antics were bizarre, but his charm was undeniable. Tor was born in 1964. When he wasn't filming, he worked at a paint factory in Norway. But online, he became a legend, a man who seemed impervious to cold, pain, or even fear. He confirmed often that yes, the vodka he drank on camera was real. And no, it wasn't an advertisement. It was simply Apator. But on November 27th, 2021, just days after turning 57, his luck finally ran out. Eerily, his final upload was titled, "I am not dead. I am 57 today." Within days, that statement would no longer be true. That morning, Tor set out to skate across a frozen lake near Kongsberg. He texted the person he lived with, reassuring them he was fine and excited to film new footage. But once on the lake, disaster struck. The ice beneath him gave way. Tor plunged into the freezing water, clawing desperately at the edges. But each time he tried to climb out, the fragile surface broke again, collapsing under his weight. He was trapped, the dark water swallowing his strength as the cold consumed him. Eventually, divers pulled him from the lake, and he was rushed by helicopter to a nearby hospital. Doctors fought to bring him back, but Tor had been in the water too long. At 57 years old, Apator was gone. Thousands of fans flooded his last video with grief and disbelief, stunned that the man who had cheated death so many times could fall to the same frozen danger he had danced on for years. Even in 2024, Apator remains a YouTube legend. His videos continue to draw new viewers, people who never knew him in life, but who now marvel at the man who lived without fear, laughed in the face of death, and filmed it all for the world to see. On the rugged coast of West Cornwall, just north of Sinan Cove, lies Gwynfor Beach. Hidden behind winding roads and sand dunes, it's the kind of place most travelers pass by without ever noticing. But for one man, it wasn't just a hidden stretch of sand. It was home. His name was Jacob Cockle. In 2011, Jacob launched a YouTube channel called Whirlpool Hitman. It quickly gained attention for showcasing extreme stunts, cliff diving, cave exploration, surfing, and most notoriously, swimming in whirlpools. Jacob's daring feats earned him recognition in major surf magazines, and even awards from National Geographic and the Sunday Times. He lived for adrenaline, chasing it wherever he could find it. But the most dangerous stunts of all were his whirlpool swims. Sometimes he would toss random objects into the churning vortex and film them vanish beneath the surface. More often, he dove into the deadly currents himself, treating the whirlpool as though it were another playground wave. On May 28, 2013, the infamous whirlpool at Haley Estuary surfaced again, a natural phenomenon that appeared only a few times a year. For Jacob, this wasn't a warning. It was an opportunity. He convinced his friend, artist David Rainshouse, to help him film what would become his final stunt. Wearing a horse mask for added spectacle, Jacob swirled at the edge of the vortex, laughing and treating it like another surf session. For nearly half an hour, David recorded as his friend let the currents spin him in circles. Jacob even remarked that the trick was the same as surfing, going with the flow, never fighting it. Eventually, David suggested they had enough footage.
I reckon you got enough there.
Riding the current of it with your body.
Are you?
Yeah, it's really similar to surfing. Just flowing with it. That's pretty scary.
got enough?
I should really make the most of it. I don't know what.
But Jacob wasn't finished. He asked for his stick-mounted GoPro and dove beneath the surface one final time. Seconds passed, then minutes. When Jacob didn't resurface, panic set in. David ran to the far side of the quay where the water spilled into a pool. That's when he saw him, face down, motionless. It was too late. Jacob Cockle was just 28 years old. Months later, his final footage was uploaded to his channel, ending with a haunting caption: "Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever." His funeral was filled with mourners, far more than the church could hold. All gathered to honor a man who lived fearlessly, even recklessly, chasing the edge until the very end. A year after his death, renovations at the harbor caused the whirlpool to vanish. The deadly vortex that fascinated Jacob and claimed his life disappeared forever. Across America's endless railways, a YouTuber named James Staub carved out a life unlike any other. Known to his fans as Staub the Hobo, he filmed himself train hopping across the country, clinging to the backs of freight cars, slipping between moving cars, and capturing the raw, perilous beauty of life on the rails. His channel, with nearly 60,000 subscribers and just over 60 videos, was filled with his deadpan humor, raw piano playing, and offbeat commentary as the scenery blurred by. It was dangerous. Everyone knew it. But for James, danger was part of the point. For years, people doubted him. Some who met Staub in bars thought his stories were exaggerated, until he showed them his footage. Cross-country journeys from Palm Beach to Jacksonville, all captured from the rattling iron of a freight train. To his audience, James was more than just a train-hopping vagabond. He was a storyteller, a traveler, a man chasing pizza, beer, and the kind of freedom most people only dream about. But freedom has a price. On November 8, 2017 in Baltimore, tragedy struck. Staub was killed in a train accident. The exact details were never made clear. Some reports suggest he fell from an overpass. Others claim his backpack was caught on a passing Amtrak train as he stood on a bridge. The truth was never fully revealed. His fans pleaded for answers, sending requests to the Baltimore Police Department for more information. But authorities asked the public to respect the wishes of James's family and allow them privacy. And so, the details of his final moments remain shrouded in silence. As of 2024, his followers still don't know exactly what happened that night. But one thing is certain: James Staub lived and died on the rails, chasing the same restless spirit that had carried him across the country. Staub the Hobo may be gone, but his journeys remain, preserved in the rattling echoes of steel wheels, in the fleeting views from a freight car, and in the loyal community that continues to remember him. Adventure, freedom, life without limits. That was the driving force behind High on Life, a YouTube channel that, at its peak, reached over 600,000 subscribers. Since 2011, the crew had uploaded more than 400 videos, taking their audience to tropical shores, cliffside dives, and even sunken ships. Their motto was simple: if you can, you should. And for years, they lived by those words, inspiring their audience to chase the unknown and embrace the world. But on July 3rd, 2018, that spirit of adventure turned to tragedy. At Shannon Falls in British Columbia, 3 members of the group ventured into the pools at the very top of the waterfall. The rocks were slick, the currents deceptively strong. Suddenly, Megan Scraper, longtime partner of crew member Alexei Liak, slipped into the rushing water below. In an instant, Alexei and fellow member Riker Gamble rushed to save her, but the current was merciless. Within seconds, all 3 were swept over the edge, plunging 100 feet into the basin below. None survived. The news devastated the crew, their audience, and the countless fans who had followed their adventures for years. Through tears, the remaining members posted a heartbreaking farewell video, remembering Riker, Alexei, and Megan as fearless, kind, and endlessly full of life. Rumors swirled that the trio had been filming during the accident, though it was never confirmed. What was confirmed is that the community rallied in grief. A GoFundMe raised nearly $30,000 for their funerals, a testament to the impact they had left behind. In the months that followed, the crew uploaded 5 emotional tribute videos. They eventually continued their travels, documenting new adventures in memory of their friends. But the channel's rhythm was forever altered. Their last upload came 2 years ago, leaving behind a haunting silence. The High on Life motto was about seizing every moment, every opportunity. And tragically, that philosophy claimed 3 lives too soon. A sobering reminder that even when we embrace life to the fullest, it can slip away in an instant. Albert Dearlin was more than a YouTuber. To his 170,000 subscribers, he was a comedian, a musician, and a rising star in Denmark's online scene. Since 2016, he had uploaded over 220 videos, sketches, music, and moments of his vibrant personality. His reach only grew in 2018 when he starred in Team Albert, a comedy film about a high schooler chasing YouTube fame. The film struck a chord with audiences, even winning the Blockbuster Audience Award at the 2019 Danish Film Awards. But on July 28, 2021, Albert's story came to an abrupt and devastating end. That summer, Albert was in the Italian Alps, hiking the jagged cliffs of Mount Saseta with friends. The Dolomites are beautiful but unforgiving, a limestone range of steep walls, sharp drops, and sudden cliffs. Albert filmed much of the trip for his channel, even sharing a bright Instagram story that morning, showing his followers the breathtaking views. But later that day, while recording on his phone, Albert lost his footing. He fell from the mountainside, plummeting more than 600 feet. Rescue crews rushed to the scene by helicopter, but it was too late. Albert Dearlin was pronounced dead on the mountain that same day. Investigators confirmed that Albert and his friends had been traversing a route that linked 2 peaks. But the exact details of what led to his fall remain uncertain. Whether it was a slip, a misstep, or simply the mountain claiming its toll, the aftermath was filled with grief. Fans across Denmark and beyond flooded social media, mourning him as a Danish YouTube icon, a creator who brought humor, music, and joy to millions of viewers. With over 90 million views across his career, Albert's impact stretched far beyond his homeland. His death shook the YouTube community, a stark reminder of the dangers of filming in extreme locations. What began as another adventure for his audience ended in silence on a mountainside. Even now, Albert Dearlin is remembered for the laughter he gave so freely, and for how quickly that laughter was silenced in the thin air of the Dolomites.